What's going on? So in this video, I'm going to give you the exact actions required to generate 100 times more leads for your coaching business. All right, so there is a big reason as to why like most coaches who are under 10K a month are getting so few and inconsistent leads. All right, and this is one of the biggest reasons. All right, I talked to a lot of people. I'll give you an example. I talked to someone, this was a while ago, but basically they tried, DMs, they tried content stuff, and I asked them, for example, okay, how many DMs have you sent out? I'm like, oh, well, I was doing 10 a day. I was like, 10 a day? Okay, how many did you send out in total? They're like, oh, well, I sent out like 90 in total, man. I didn't sign any clients from it. And, this is one example of just the vast difference in the volume required to see results between what most people realize, what they think it is actually required and what is actually required. So in this video, I'm going to break down the actual calculators and the templates that we use to determining, okay, how many actual inputs do you need to see the results that you want, to make the amount of money that you want? Because if you send 90 DMs, there's a high likelihood that you don't sign any clients, or because it's such a small volume, it's so minuscule. All right, so let's jump into some examples. Let's make this real for you. So let's go to our financial modeling template. So this is what we use specifically when running paid ads. We basically just put in our numbers here and also tells us timelines, when are we going to sign clients, all this stuff. So for example, here we have this funnel. We have basically how much does it cost to get us a lead, how much does it cost to book a call, how much does it cost to get a live call, all right, that means someone who actually shows up on the call, and how much does it cost to actually acquire a client. All right, we basically adjust these conversion rates here. So let's say it's costing us, let's put in some different numbers here. Let's say it's $3 a lead. Let's say our conversion rate here is 2%, so it's $150 per call. Let's say 60% of people show up. All right, that's $250 per live call, and let's say we have close 20% of people. So leaves us with about 1.2K client acquisition costs. Not bad at all. All right, then we have our actual profit math right here. So let's say we're collecting 5K, so we have a 5K offer, collect 5K, obviously paying 1.2K to ads, and then we're left with about 75% profit margins. All right, pretty solid. Now here's the thing. All right, if you have these numbers, how much volume are you doing in terms of ad spend? All right, so let's say your daily ad spend is $50, which is very, very small. This will take you 25 to 50 days to acquire one client. 25 to 50 days. It could very well be towards a 50. All right. Most people, when they launch ads, they don't realize this right here, this stuff. So they'll run it for 5 days, 10 days, maybe 15 days. They don't sign a client, so they freak out and they turn it off because they spent $700, $800. Oh, no client signed. It's not working. They don't realize this stuff. They don't realize that the buffer and what it actually takes. Because this is just the math. It's just the simple math. This 25 days is just calculate, okay, this is 1.2K divided by 50 is 25 days. But we also have this worst case, which is just 2x this number, or it's just 2x. The reason for that is data does not distribute itself perfectly. So it's very likely that you could actually sign your first client, 40 days in, and then you quickly sign another one, 47 days in. And then all of a sudden this normalizes back to that 1.2K number of CAC, of client acquisition cost. All right, data does not distribute itself perfectly. So you have to be aware of this. You must. All right, so this is one of the biggest differences here. And let's say a lot of people, especially beginners, they'll try and launch paid ads and they'll do even lower ad spend, $30 a day or $20 a day. Then you can see by this, it can literally take, what is that, 3-4 months to sign a client? You're not going to make it. Unless you really realize this stuff, you're not going to make it 4 months of ad spend without making any money from it. And you're going to turn it off before. Most people don't know this stuff. So you have to run these numbers. You have to realize what you're actually doing. What are the numbers to your actual client acquisition funnel? All right, and the time it's going to take. Now, obviously, in an ideal world, you just launch at a significantly higher spend, $300 a day. Then you have a much faster feedback cycle. We can tell in a week, hey, is this working or not? All right, in a week. All right, and this could take a little bit longer because there could be a sales cycle. You could have follow-ups. So this is not fully accurate. It really depends on a few factors, but it gives you a lot more context here. All right, so that's an example of volume required in terms of getting results with paid ads. All right, the cool thing about this, let's go back to $100 a day or something. The cool thing about this, you can obviously manipulate these conversion rates, and you can get this really, really good. You can get this up to 3%. And also this dramatically changes. You get this up to 30%. This dramatically changes as well. This would be an extremely, extremely efficient funnel where you have like 89% profit margin. It's really, really efficient here. All right. And these numbers could also get worse. All right. So let's go to $50 a day. Like you can get wildly inefficient with this. All right. And you can still come out profitable. But you can see like how this varies a lot. So the things you really need to focus on is, hey, your conversion rates here. Make sure the funnel actually works. It actually converts people at each stage. And then also realize that the time required just based on your daily spend and based on your funnel metrics. All right, so I hope this puts things in perspective. This specifically for paid ads. Now let's go over like a DM scenario right here. So this is our outbound money printer calculator. All right, so basically what we do here, put in your monthly revenue goal. So let's zoom in here a little bit. So let's say you just want to make 20K a month. Basically, we put in our metrics below here. So let's say average 30-day cash. Let's say we have a 3K offer, nothing too crazy. Let's say our close rate is 20%, start rate is 70%, point booking rate, let's say this is 1%. All right, based on these numbers, again, like realize the volume required. This requires about 4,700 monthly outbound messages sent, which is nothing too crazy, but a lot of people will like freak out at this number. You gotta send 159 messages per day. You make 20K a month. If you actually know your numbers though, like even this, like these are not like the best conversion rates or deal size either, but like this should also like bring you some hope of like, hey, like even these numbers not being optimized, literally all you have to do if you want to make $20,000 in cash collected is just send 159 messages a day. Like that's the only problem you have to solve to hit this goal. Like that should give you hope. Even like considering these numbers are not that good. Like we could easily increase prices and this will dramatically change it. We could easily get this close rate up. That will dramatically change it. There's all these things we can do to make this much easier. But even worst case, like it's not like it's the one problem you have to solve is sending that many messages per day. Like you have an easy business. And that's like what we do for all the private clients that we work with is like we just break it down, we make it numbers based, we make it input to output based, we make it cause and effect. Because business is cause and effect. Like it's no luck. It's no, I hope the algorithm hopefully works. I need word of mouth or I need referrals. Like it's just input to output equations. And that's what we do every single day. Like we use these calculators. We know exactly, okay, what are the inputs we need to do to hit the goals that we actually want? All right, obviously if this goal goes up, let's say we want to make 30K a month. These numbers just change. All right. And it's just simple math. Like there's nothing crazy about it. Just simple math. Like that's all it is. So that is the video. I hope this gives you some perspective as far as like volume required and time required to sign clients. And if you want to like obviously like hit massively like bigger revenue goals, you have to do way more volume. Like you got to increase ad spend. You got to send way more outbound. Like that is just what's required. That's what all of the people in your niche who are making 30K, 50K, 100K a month, 200K a month. That's what they're doing is just more volume than you and more efficient volume than you. So hope this video helps. If you are an online coach and you want to work together one-on-one to just reverse engineer exact inputs required for you to hit your revenue goals, go ahead and click the link below. I have a full explainer video breaking down the details on working with me one-on-one, and then also breaks down pricing and all the details like that. So click that link below if you are interested. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.